What's going on, guys? Tony here, CCxRC, and I've got something exciting on the bench here, something brand new, and we may be the only ones to have this right now. I was at the Solid Showdown in Chesterfield, Virginia for the big race, an event that they put on, the Showtime RC Motorsports guys, and CEN Racing was there, and they were showing off their new vehicles, and I was over there filming them because we were doing a live talk with the tank, and we were looking at some of them, and he pulled up that they were going to be there, and I said, well, I'm going to be there. I'll get a look at them, get some video footage. And at the end of the weekend, they actually sent me home with this and the B50. This right here is the Fiat Abarth 595. Now, I looked up how to pronounce this, and you know, I don't know why I did, because you guys are going to tell me I'm saying it wrong no matter what or how I say it. Some people say it Abarth, some people say it Abarth, other people say Abarth or Abarth. I think that's more of a US pronunciation. We do the TH. So anyway, guys, this is the Fiat Abarth 595, and it is a sweet 1/12 scale, supposed to be kind of like a Tamiya type fun vehicle, like the Wild Willy and those ones that just do the wheelies and all that all the time. So yeah, I really think it's cool. I like what they've done. It has oil-filled shocks. It has a transmission in here, and it has planetary gear differential in the back. And so that's just a fun way to do it. It does have a slipper clutch as well, wheelie bar. We're going to take the top off this thing, give you guys a look inside, and probably joke more about the name and pronounce it wrong throughout the video. So be ready for that, guys, after the break. All right, so I'm trying to find out the best way to show this to you guys. It's white on a white table, and it's reflecting the light. I do not have the box, but I do have here a little cheat sheet. Took a picture of what they had available on these cars at the event. They had 3 of them on display. This is the Fiat. Here it is. You guys tell me how to say that. Abarth 595. This could be the joke. The mispronunciation. Give it to me first, and I don't know how to say it. What's up with that? No, just kidding. So here is the controller, the Mod 3S 2.4 gigahertz controller. Feels good in the hand. Has a nice rubberized grip. These are easy to bind. And so in here there's a receiver. If you need to rebind it, you just push down the button when you turn it on. It'll put it into bind mode. Then you just turn on the controller to be able to bind it. So they make it simple to put it into bind mode. Here you can see a little bit different than other cars. They're just push down buttons instead of wheels or dials or knobs or whatever you want to call the things that they put on the controllers for your dual rates and your throttle and your all of that stuff. And so I was actually having a little bit of trouble. I was driving this there at the event, and I actually realized that if I just held these down and it went beep, 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 you could actually see it move faster. Otherwise, it was quite a bit of pushes. So that gives you a lot of fine detail control, which is what's nice about it. But once I realized I could just push down to make it move faster, it was way better. So that's one thing to keep in mind. 3 channels, so that's nice. There's a 3rd channel on here. Steering, so this is what I had to do, right and left. And then you've got your dual rates here, because you can make this thing turn really, really hard if you turn those up. Then you've got your throttle adjustments here to set your 0 point. And then, of course, you have the throttle reverse and steering reverses. So it takes 4 batteries, AA, and it feels good. Let's get out of the way. All right, so now the controller is out of the way, we can go ahead and take off the body and see what is inside. First of all, we'll look at the body. You can see they've got decals here on the windows. The Fiat name is here on the side. You've got the logo on the front. This is hard plastic, as well as the bumper and these light buckets. And so these light buckets as well are set up so you can install 3mm bulbs in the front and in your rear lights. So you've got, you know, hard plastic pieces around this molded shell, which has been driven and used and abused while we were at the Solid Showdown there. So let's take a quick look around the truck itself. You can see there's a pretty standard sized nut in here. The wheels feel good. They're nice and grippy, firm. They feel like there's actually foam inside of here. On the front, we've got, it feels like metal. It's a metal bar up on the front. Yeah, a metal steering arm here. You can see up here the servo is chassis mounted. It has the WP 1040 brushed waterproof ESC sitting on top here. And so this is a Hobby Wing ESC. It's 40 amp. It can do a 2 or 3S LiPo, it says, or 5 to 9 nickel metal hydride. And so there's also these little tabs that you can use to switch between your settings. And for your LiPo or NIMH, depends on where you're going to put these little tabs in there. So you want to make sure you're looking at it based on what batteries you're using. The receiver is set up front here inside of this little case, and that's also to waterproof it, I'm sure, as well. And we don't have a box on this because it doesn't have a box. It was handed to us at the event and told to just show you guys what it's all about. You can see the shocks. The shocks actually feel really good, and they have aluminum caps on the top. And look at all the adjustment that you can do here, as well as on the chassis. There's a lot of open holes that they could add on things, or maybe make some, you know, a little bit longer wheelbase. I don't know. You'd need new arms for that. Speaking of arms, you can see on the bottom what they did here, and I noticed this when we were at the Solid Showdown, was that they made their own little sway bars here that they zip tied on here. And I've done that with my ground pounder, so it's not uncommon to do that to get a little bit more stability. It does have 4-link. They're very tight and plastic, and probably all you need. And so under here you do have adjustability on your arm from your servo for setting your steering, as well as doing it by the controller. Now what's interesting is they have that arm also coming up the rear, so it's almost like you could, if I push on this, it'll actually adjust the wheels. You hear that? You might even see it in there moving. Right underneath the transmission here, they tuck in this little bar that would be used for a 4-wheel steer in the bigger model. So I don't know what it's used for here, but you can see the differential in the rear, and it does have a transmission for a 2-wheel drive up here that uses a drive shaft to the rear diff to drive this thing. And so it does have ball bearings inside here, so it does have that in there. Looking through the monster features that I did get with this, took a picture of. It's a 540 motor in there. It says it's a Mibuchi motor. And so that's some of the features, and the specs on this are, it's 11 inches long, 10.6 wide, and it has a wheelbase of 6.9 inches. That's axle to axle, and that's 175 millimeter. Ground clearance is 2.6 inches. So the drivetrain is 2-wheel drive, like I said. It's a center locker to a rear planetary gear there in the diff. They do have in this gearbox, and so what's nice about them doing this gearbox is they have an interchangeable high and low gear inside there. You do have to take it apart, but you can swap that around in order to get higher speed or lower speed. They call these big bore oil-filled shocks, and so these bodies of these shocks are 10 millimeter oversized shock bodies. The battery tray up top does use this little clip system. You little spin and then slide your tray in and out to get your battery in and out. Now you can see I've got a 5,000 milliamp hour Venom battery in here, 2S, and it fits no problem in here. Just slide this on back, drop it down, good to go. Does have the wheelie bar here on the back as well. And so there may be a little bit of adjustability here. You might be able to pull this in some. I see that there are more holes, and so that might allow you to make some adjustments there by backing out these 2 screws. Now the hardware I do notice is Phillip head on a lot of these here. That does come in handy for people that may not be in the hobby already, because almost everybody has a Phillips head screwdriver, and we'll be able to work on these as well. I don't know what other wrenches and tools might come with this because I didn't get any, but I can say that it is a cute little car, and they do have a good price point. It looks like that they're going to be coming out with these. It seems like they're trying to be fair on their pricing, and they've also got the bigger brother of this, which is the B50. or the HL150. And so here we go. I'll show you really quick a little side by side with its big brother, the B50. Now this they also gave to me to review, which we're doing in another video that you can find here on the channel. But it has a much bigger, has larger wheels, bigger wheelbase, just bigger all around. But it uses the same style chassis, and a lot of the components look very similar in this, just a little bit bigger, doubling up the shocks and all of that, which is smart for them to be able to have parts that are interchangeable. So that is great for them if they're able to work that out, where it's using the same shocks, but you know, these have more and things like that. So I don't know exactly that that is the case. It does look like that is the case, but I don't know as far as shared parts how far along that goes. The both of these are running the same WP 1040 brushed ESCs, and the servo on this one's a little bit higher number, RTR 12. This is the 06, but that's a couple of just things I'm noticing. The box here for the receiver looks the same, and I know that it is probably the same receiver because it uses the same controller, which I'm going to just bind across to this one when I do the review for this. So we'll have to pop off a few little screws here. But this one is not running Phillips head. These are running hexes on the hardware here. So that's the quick look at it. We've driven it. I've driven it. A lot of people drove it at the Solid Showdown, and we all were saying that we really wanted to get one of these because it's just so much fun and it's so cute. That's a quick look here, guys, at this Fiat Abarth 595. If you guys have any questions, you want to leave them for me down below. I'll try and reach out to the people at CEN and see if we can get some answers for you about this particular vehicle and the other releases that they have coming here very soon. I believe this is due out in May 2019. That's when the B50 is supposed to be out, as well as the HL150, which is the same as the B50 monster truck we just had up there, but it has a different body on it, and different color bead locks. So try not to go too in depth because there's only so much that I can see so far in this first look at it. I'm sure as we continue to use it, we'll start noticing some other things about it as we take different things apart. But it is definitely cute, and it seems to be very well made for what it is, and will be a lot of fun. Now, these are wheelie masters. I don't know what you want to call it. They do like to wheelie. And so that is something to get used to if you're a new driver, because wheels in the air means you can't turn. And so you have to know to let off in order to be able to turn. Short wheelbase turns really fast, of course, and that's where you might want to turn the dual rates down on the steering. But overall, I had a blast with this thing. We were kind of bouncing off a little jumps. I brought it home and I was hitting my little jumps in the front yard. This wouldn't probably be, you know, backyard basher in my particular backyard, but throwing it out on the street, hitting the little jumps, hitting the little mounds of dirt, total blast. And you know, they're just fun when you just want to get something out and play for a little bit. These things fit the bill. You know, probably hard to break, although I do know that Matthew Hall ran it really hard, full speed into a board, and we did break something, or at least pull out something here in the front end that was quickly fixed, and we had it back out playing with it. The guys at CEN were awesome to us at Solid Showdown. They let us try these things. They said, don't worry about breaking it. If you break it, we've got stuff here to fix them. And so they just let you run it like it was yours, and if something happened, then they help take care of it, which not very many things seem to break on them that I saw. I did witness this one, in fact have video evidence that we'll show you here, but we'll end with some video footage of this thing driving for you guys. Again, I really like what CEN is trying to do here. I like that they've added things like the oil-filled shocks to this type of a fun vehicle, and it just handles really well and performs really fun. So thanks for tuning in as always, guys. Like I always say, have fun RCing. We'll catch you next time.